We're going to need a truckload of Oreos.
Uh, that's funny.
Okay, I'm committed to us ending in significantly less than an hour. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? So, let me read my blurb. Following the guidance issued by the Commonwealth in March of 2023 regarding the open meeting law, this public meeting will be held remotely, and individuals wishing to participate may do so by utilizing Zoom video conferencing technology. So, uh, just want to quickly do a roll. So, Nina,
Here.
Mish,
Here.
Marty,
Yeah.
Sarah,
Here.
Gavin.
You not hear me here?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay.
And I'm here. Great. Kevin, I know, has told me he couldn't make it tonight. So a couple of housekeeping things. I don't think we have a set of minutes to approve
Oh
yet.
yeah, from April 15th.
We-
We have those
Okay.
if you
All right.
if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Might as well go ahead and do it. So, any comments, corrections people have about the April 15th minutes? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
I move to accept.
Great. Thank you, Marty. A second?
Second.
Great. Thank you, Nina. Mish,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay. So this is our last meeting before town meeting, obviously. I wanted to just have you at least kind of identify a couple of dates, a few dates uh, coming up for possible meetings. It'll depend a little bit on whether we actually have business to conduct. I know we have one reserve fund transfer that we're going to have to deal with, but Chris wants to address probably beginning of June. But there may be other stuffs going on. So the potential dates for meetings would be May 20, June 3rd, June 17, and June 24. We won't use all these. It's likely we'll use the 24th to clean up business before the end of the fiscal year. That's the last Wednesday before the end of June. So hopefully we'll only use one or two of these dates, but I want you just to kind of have them on your radar for possibility. Right, great. So I wanted to continue a little bit with the year-end review, and the so people in the Blue Book Working Group met this week with Chris and Suzanne and started a discussion around the Blue Book and what went right this year and what went wrong. You don't have to mention that it's white. We all know it's white. I'm going to have to apologize to everybody at town meeting for the fact that it's white. It was not our fault. The printer knew it was supposed to be blue, and apparently the printer was ill that when it was actually being printed and didn't catch the mistake. But the good news is we spent half as much on the printing the blue book this year as we did last year, despite I think the high quality of the paper and the fact that we used color. We had color available to us. So if we can correct a few things, hopefully things will uh, be more satisfactory next year. Maybe Gavin and Mish, you could both comment on just some of the observations people had about things that could potentially work better next year.
Sure. We talked about how even there's certain aspects of the Blue Book compilation that are scrambled by nature because the numbers don't come in until late, but a lot of it is really firmed up fairly early in the process, after in January. And so we sort of looked at next year, now that we have a template. And so the Blue Book is broken into components that are easily sort of isolated and worked on without messing up the whole book. We could sort of start to um, nail down some of the parts of the Blue Book that could be done much earlier. And really, it's quite a bit of the Blue Book, as Gavin pointed out, could be done much earlier. And if liaisons were sort of thinking about their write-ups, as soon as we know of an article, we could be doing a write-up, even a draft that would be helpful, just as much as we can do earlier in the game, because the numbers part of it is just does come late. And then Chris worked on adjusting the timeline and sort of presenting the department heads that if they didn't have the information that we need for the Blue Book on our deadline, then they wouldn't be in the Blue Book. Then we wouldn't have, then that would simply be a firm deadline that we would recognize. That would be helpful as well, I think.
And I think beyond more time, more clear deadlines and processes starting earlier and effectively having more templates and standardization. I think a more rigorous sort of editing proof process at the end is going to be a goal for the upcoming year. But I think the assessment was that there was a lot of improvement versus prior year. And so hopefully it's laying the foundation for an even better process the following year.
Yeah, I personally can attest to the fact that it was a lot smoother this year than last year. The whole process was better. There were a number of things that I thought we could identify that made a big difference. Having Suzanne and Chris involved the way they were made a huge difference in terms of kind of getting things through. I thought Suzanne's help made the book substantially more visually attractive than it has been in past years, and significantly more readable. In terms of the production, the printer just didn't give us enough time to proofread it. As it turned out, the Blue Book was in people's mailboxes somewhat early even. So we probably had more time than he was allowing, but I think next year we have to work with the printer to allow ourselves a chance to proof and to have a physical copy to proof. We would have identified the fact that the Blue Book, the cover was in the wrong color if we'd had a physical copy instead of just looking at it online. So those kinds of things are all important. I have thought a lot this year about how we could be more useful to town residents in terms of providing them information about the articles and thinking more about how we do our write-ups and potentially that also could benefit from more time, but also I think more collective action as a group, thinking about how better to inform people about what they're voting on and what the issues are and why we're making the recommendation that we do. So that I think is something that will warrant some more discussion over the next few months. We did talk to Chris as well about potentially having the Warrant Committee play some role in facilitating online communication sessions. For example, the session that Kevin did on the fuel island, but potentially it's part of our job is to think in advance about what are going to be contentious, maybe contentious articles, and provide people with better information about why we make the recommendations that we do. So thinking about how we might use things beyond just the blue book necessarily about to inform people, I think is worth spending some time on. I'd also like to get, excuse me, get the guidance letter working group together sometime in the next month or so to start thinking about that process as well. That group took responsibility both for the drafting the guidance letter, but also for coordinating and, for lack of a better word, choreographing the departmental presentations. I think we got a lot of very positive feedback about the changes in the presentations, but I think we now have something to build on. But for example, how we take a next step in terms of KPIs and where that goes. So like people just to spend some time on their own thinking about that, and then I'll try and get a group together probably in late May, beginning of June, to start that discussion. So other comments, questions about the year? If not, I want to spend 10 minutes or so. We're going to be done by 7:30. Going through the town meeting agenda. So we suggest people arrive roughly half an hour before town meeting starts at 7. When you get there, you'll get a handout from Jim or Felicia of the articles and motions for the town meeting. Jim has already identified who is asking to make each motion and second each motion. So that'll be in the printed copy that you get. And as quickly as you can, once you get the document, take a look at it, because there are some things that are a little bit, particularly in some of the articles, that are worth just being aware of. And I'm going to highlight them for you verbally, just so you've got a heads up about it. Okay. Article 5 is the capital budget items. Marty, Jim's identified you as making the motion, and Mish, you're seconding Article 5. There's this is going to be a little bit complicated because we know in advance that there's going to be a group making a presentation about the fuel island. And we know that the fuel island and the parking lot / pickleball courts will need a 2/3 vote. I think.
Woody, as does the roof for the school.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. That's Article 6. So
Right.
So on 5 though, both the fuel island and the parking lot require 2/3 votes. So they'll get separate motions and separate votes. Marty, you'll read both of those motions as well, and there will be presentations on both. I think Michael is going to do the presentation in favor of the fuel island. And then there'll be a group presenting in opposition.
Right, so it's going to be Michael and Cam. Cam as the Board of Selectmen's liaison to capital budget is
Okay.
going to be standing there with Cam.
Okay.
With
And then Mark Galoni will make a presentation on the parking lot fuel island, parking lot pickleball courts. There's no one who's identified themselves as speaking in opposition to that as yet. So there are articles 6, 7, 8, and 9, I think. I'm not sure if 10 is part of this, isn't 8 and 9 are all potentially, or actually 10 is part of it, are all potentially covered on a consent agenda, which means that the articles can be moved. They're recurring and non-substantive, so they can be moved and voted on as a package. So if someone objects to that, we have to read each article and make a motion on each article independently. If the meeting agrees to treat them as consent articles, they'll be voted as a single vote. So I think Mish, you're moving those articles and Sarah's seconding them. So you just have to be aware of the fact you may do you may do them as a cluster, or you may end up doing kind of individually. And Jim will kind of lead you as to how you're supposed to do it.
Okay, that's good.
And then I think those are the major ones that are a little bit kind of unusual. Jim will identify which require more than a majority vote. There's nothing that we have to do in that context. The zoning bylaws require a 2/3 majority. That's true for all of them, and I think Jim will make that clear. There is a group that's already identified that they want to make a presentation in opposition to Article 19. So they'll be speaking against Article 19. I think Carol has asked Melissa to speak for the planning board. So there's nothing we do differently, but I think Nina, you may be making that motion, but there's nothing we have to do. Jim will kind of arrange for them to do their presentations. Any questions? I think we were talking at the beginning about the fact that the tone at the moderator's meeting was somewhat tense, I would say. I'm hoping that that doesn't carry over to town meeting. I also think it's there was some concern about about a persistence of a quorum last night. Please encourage your friends and neighbors to attend town meeting, and in particular to stay to the end. It becomes a lot more problematic to kind of get all the business done if it goes to a second night, but also, you can revisit motions on the second night, and things that you think have gone one way could end up being voted again on again and voted a second way. So the more efficient we are at town meeting, and the more we're able to get through the entire agenda, the better it's likely to be. But absolutely, the more people that can get there at the beginning, the better, and stay, the better. Any other questions, comments?
So Woody, I'm just wondering, what your presentation is going to cover because I want to make sure that my comments aren't redundant with yours.
I'm really just addressing this year's budget.
Okay.
And I'm only doing, I think I'm doing 5 slides.
Okay.
One of which is apologizing for the cover of the blue book.
It's blue, I hope.
The slide is blue,
Yeah.
but the picture of the blue book is white.
I know.
So I'm really focusing on this year's budget and some of the challenges and the fact that in the process of this year's budget, we deferred things that are going to come due next year.
Hey, Woody, the whole Blue Book issue, is that a requirement or is that just a tradition that
It
people?
is absolutely a tradition. In fact, as best we could discern, there's actually there's a requirement, there's a bylaw that requires that the town distribute the warrant, but there's no town bylaw that a blue book be distributed. It is, there is a bylaw that the warrant committee is supposed to make its recommendations to town meeting about the articles, but it's not clear there's no clear bylaw that says a blue book has to be put together and distributed by mail to the town residents. So, but it is absolutely an expectation of people.
Oh, this size is, I think both the color and the size is a pleasant improvement from my
Yeah.
perspective. It's readable. It's got charts in here. This is really well done compared
Yeah,
to.
I think visually, Suzanne and Chris had a big impact on making it more readable and more physically kind of appealing. And for that matter, the printer, the stock that the printer chose for the paper and the color actually turned out pretty well, I think. But the only there are some kind of typos and other kind of formatting things that I think if we'd had more time to proofread, we would have picked up. The biggest thing the biggest comment I've gotten the last few days is people expect the cover to be blue. We expected the cover to be blue. Next year the cover can be blue, but I think we're quite happy that the pages are white. It's a lot easier to read now than it
Right.
was when there were blue papers.
So
And the
why can't we
font is
do this
big.
next year?
We can.
We can.
You
Yeah.
mean have a
This-
white cover?
Yeah, they're the same size, same deal.
We will. I think there's been very uh, positive comments about the readability and the type and the visual presentation. The only complaint is about the cover not being blue, and that's I would say some of the people at least have been tongue in cheek when they've complained.
Yeah, yeah, and that's no
And
big.
after all, the cherry sheets are not red anymore, so there's kind of historical precedent to continue to call it a blue book even when the cover is not blue.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the cover blue and leave everything else the same.
Yeah, I think that would be the goal. All right. That was really all I had for tonight. Any other business people want to bring up? If not, we'll see you Monday night.
Woody, could you send me your slides? Are you going to do anything about free cash? Because John Jeffrey specifically asked that question.
I did see that. No, I was not intending to do
All right.
that.
All right, I'm going to deal with it then.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send mine probably not till towards the end of the day tomorrow.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I won't look at it until the weekend. So.
Okay. All right, great.
No rush.
So I have to ask Sarah, what happened?
I fell in my house
Wow.
trying to anticipate the carbon monoxide monitor so that it wouldn't wake the kids up, except that my missing a step and thrashing to the bottom of the stairs ended up waking everyone in horror to find me bleeding here, and
Oh my
I
God.
tore some
Did you
tendons.
break your arm?
Hand specialist. No, it's in a sugar tongue. It's a rigid cast until I have the MRI and further.
Oh, I'm so sorry. God, that looks terrible.
Wow.
It does. I really did it. My elbows and my knees are the same as my face. I'm
Oh,
um, hopeful this disappears a bit more by Monday so that I don't end my career with this committee having looked like the last 6 years battered me figuratively and physically.
The good news is that the lights are such that we're in the shadows anyway, so
That's true.
on the stage. So, but
Wow.
sounds terrible.
It was more painful when, yeah, I went to the hospital, but yeah. So anyhow, thanks for asking.
All right, good.
sending healing vibes.
Thank you very much. It stinks getting old, and you think like you have your wits about you, and one little step ends up, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't
notice
think it
how.
has, right. I'm not sure it has anything to do with old. I think it has to do with you multitasking a million things on your mind and you just,
Maybe too, it was dark. I didn't turn the lights on. I just thought, "Oh, I can get down there to the basement, push the button, it'll be off." But
right.
I did notice how carefully Camilla and Charles walked down the steps from the jet.
ah,
They both held the railing carefully.
Speaking of steps, I because of my back surgery, I would like to go around the back instead of walking up those makeshift without a railing. Is that possible?
Yeah,
I
you can go
don't
up
see
the
why
ramp.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
through the
there's a ramp.
backstage.
Okay, yeah, because I'm doing pretty well in my recovery, but it's good to have a railing on stairs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
There's also one of those little elevator things.
oh, I don't need that. I just
I've never seen it being used, so,
yeah, but a ramp is perfect. Thanks.
okay.
all right. Well, ask Felicia.
Okay.
She can fix everything.
Yeah, no, I mean my I'm ambulatory 100% pretty much, but
Great.
caution is always a good thing.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Great. Second.
Second.
Great. Marty,
Yes.
Mish,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Gavin, and I'm yes. Great. Okay, we'll see you Monday night.
Great. Thanks.
Night,
Keep
everyone.
keep your fingers crossed.
Oh, wait,
Thank-
let me save the transcript. Woody, don't turn it off. Sorry, I lost the
Okay.
transcript.
I
Okay.
I was just going to ask you.
I accidentally closed it instead of saving it. I'm good now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.